Assalamu alaikum and welcome to day 21 of our How to Read Quran series, a program on the Quranology Institute's YouTube channel. Today, as you can see from the title of this video, I will be speaking about a tool which I use quite extensively, and it's called WITH. WITH is an acronym which stands for Why Is This Here? And I think it should be perfectly obvious what it means. It's basically just readers, as in us, asking the text, interrogating the text about why a particular word or a particular verse or even a particular chapter or chapters are where they are. Now, obviously, this means that we have come to the belief. And when I say we have come to the belief, I don't mean dogma. I mean we have gone through the process and we have come to the belief that Quran is divine inspiration. So it is Allah who inspired the words of Quran and the text of Quran. In other words, its arrangement was inspired by God. And this is something which is supported in Quran itself. The idea that it's kitabiyah, or its textuality, is from Allah. How do we know this? Well, Quran describes itself as a kitab. Or kitab is not just book. Kitab is something which is arranged in such a way so as to provide a specific result, i.e. the meaning. And Allah also says about Quran, وَرَتَّلْنَهُ تَرْتِيلًا, and we arranged it with a meticulous arrangement. So if you believe that this inspiration is from Allah, and you believe that He arranged it, surely the arrangement must have ultimate significance. I won't even say just significance, I would say ultimate significance. And in my opinion, I have seen enough to acknowledge this. I really truly believe this, that the arrangement of Quran is purposeful. And the purpose is to deliver us the message in the most optimum way possible. So, how can we see the examples of this WITH tool, or the effectiveness of this WITH tool? Now, this, when I first started, this was maybe about 15 years ago, I guess. I was reading Baqarah. And then I came across this rather iconic verse. Yeah, I'll read it to you. It says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, verily those who have believed, وَالَّذِينَ هَادُوا, translated as the Jews, وَالنَّصَارَى, translated as the Christians, وَالسَّبِئِينَ, مَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ وَبِالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ, those who believe in Allah and the last day, وَعَمِلَ الصَّالِحَةِ فَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ, for them is a reward in the sight of their Lord. And on and on. Basically, it says they have no fear and nor they shall grieve, etc. Okay. When I read it, I have already known about this verse, and we usually discuss this verse, meaning saying that it acknowledges multiple religions, etc., etc. Okay, but at that point, I realized that it was smack in the middle of the longest passage to Bani Israel. And by that time, I didn't believe Bani Israel was an ancient tribe of Jews anymore. I was following the opinion of Mr. Muhammad Sheikh. And Muhammad Sheikh believed that Bani Israel are the Muslims of all time. I thought that was a pretty cogent opinion. I moved on from there a few years later, but at that time, that's what I thought. So that made me ask, why is a verse about multiple religions in that particular passage right there? And there is actually a reason for it. In fact, that is the stage in which Bani Israel, they had fallen from their optimum state. They were following Musa, and they had fallen from that optimum state into the so-called citified life. And in the previous verse, chapter 2, verse 61, they had told Musa that they are not satisfied with one type of food, metaphorical food. I don't believe this is literal. So when God says, Inna alladhina amanu walladhina hadu, etc., etc., in verse 62, it is not speaking about multiple religions. It is speaking about people of different behaviors, which is being administrated by Musa, and probably Harun is also there. You see, so there is a reason why the verse is there. And if we figure out the correct interpretation, at least as far as our current knowledge goes, we will see that it is a smooth reading. Otherwise, it'll be sticking out. You see, it will be like, okay, well, out of nowhere, God is speaking about ancient Jews, and then he says multiple religions are okay. That doesn't make as much sense as seeing it as a deliverance, or rather a delivery to people who have followed a prophet and are falling into different types of behavior. That makes much more sense to me. And that is why it is there. One more example before we finish. Now, for those of you who discuss how many times a day you should pray, how many salah there are in a day, one of the verses you usually quote is chapter 2, verse 238, which says, Hafizu ala salawat wa salawatul wusta wa kumu lillahi qanitin. Establish the salat and the salat al-wusta. This is apparently a time of salat. And stand for God as a devotee, or as devotees, qanitin, plural. And فَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ, and if you are in fear, فَرِجَالًا وَأَوْ رُكْبَانًا, I'm not going to translate that bit. And فَإِذَا أَمِنْتُمْ, and when you are secure, فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ, remember Allah, etc., etc. So people say, okay, well, there you go. That is the third period of Salah. There is Salatul Fajr, Salatul Isha, and Salatul Wusta. Here's the thing though. Let's ask with, why is this here? Now, this passage, we're talking from verse 220 onwards, or maybe even 219. It's following through a program for family establishment and family betterment. There are laws of marriage, laws of divorce, laws of childcare. And suddenly, out of nowhere, we have a period for praying. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. And then if you look at the next verse, 240, I recited 238 and 239, but if you look at 240, it says, those who pass on and leave behind their spouses. And it says, and those who pass on and leave their spouses. وَالَّذِينَ يَتَوَفَّوْنَ مِنْكُمْ, those who pass on from among you. And those who pass on, So why does it say and there? Because the so-called Salatul Wusta verses are in fact dealing with the same subject. The only thing is, our interpretation of it makes us think that actually no, it's not dealing with the same subject. And that's why we see it as sticking out. It's actually not sticking out. I would think that Salatul Wusta means our strong connection, or our balanced connection. Wusta means to be balanced. Our balanced connection with the divine system. So we follow the divine system in such a way that no matter what happens, no matter in the middle of all sorts of family disputes, we are still hanging on to the system. And that is why Salatul Wusta is mentioned right there. So to me, that makes a far smoother reading than saying, okay, right in the middle there, you have timings of prayers. No, that doesn't make any sense. So you can see, hopefully, why I use this with tool. If we have time this month, I will illustrate further examples of this tool. Many thanks for viewing this series, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.